This is the Speak For Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. Monday after the Masters, and Colin Cowherd called in sick. We got Christine Leahy filling in. Whitlock reminds us that Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain finished ahead of Oscar Robertson in the 1962 MVP voting as we talk Russell Westbrook. Christine Leahy thinks Kyrie and LeBron are sitting out tonight because they went out to clubs in Miami last night. They also played an overtime thriller in Atlanta. How about a back-to-back the week the playoffs start? Smart move, Cavs. NFL expert Eric Mangini is back. He tells you that Tony Romo in the booth will be just as difficult as John Lynch going to the GM role in San Francisco. Whitlock believes that the Tiger Woods era is officially over thanks to Sergio Garcia's win at the Masters. And Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard tells you that Russell Westbrook's historic record is the equivalent of Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. And of course, Tim Tebow, because you haven't had enough Tebow in your life. Ready for Speak For Yourself? Take it away, Whitlock.
Hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NBA analyst Jim Jackson and Chris Broussard, plus Colin Cowherd's co-host on The Herd, Christine Leahy, sitting in for Colin. Let's start in the NBA, where the Cavs will take on the Heat tonight, but reportedly will be without LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, who will rest up for the postseason. Cleveland's tied with Boston for the top seed in the East, but the Cavs have apparently decided to wave the white flag on the regular season. Not only that, but the game means a lot to both Miami and Chicago, who are battling for the final spot and playoff seeding. Guys, I think this is a horrible look for the NBA. I think this devalues the regular season. This game is important to the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. I don't get this. This is horrible for the NBA. And look, if the Cavs somehow win 51, 52 games this year and then win the championship while taking a dump on the regular season, it's going to set a horrible precedent for the rest of the league.
Well, the Cavs are basically saying we don't care if we play the Pacers or the Bulls in the first round of the playoffs, which is interesting because the Bulls swept the Cavs this season, and LeBron was only missing for one of those games. So what LeBron and the Cavs are telling you right now is we don't care that we were swept by the Bulls because that wasn't really us playing. We know we can turn it on for the playoffs, and that's what counts. So again, they're telling us regular season doesn't matter. And we're not even giving you our best product in the regular season.
Yeah, I've been outspoken about my opposition to players resting. But the Cavs, it's even deeper than that. Like when the Spurs rest players, they rest everybody. Nobody plays all 82, and nobody plays 34 minutes. Golden State, Memphis, they rest everybody. Nobody plays more than 34 minutes. The Cavs, it doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason. Okay, you tell us the science says rest, but Tristan Thompson played 447 straight games. You know, now he's hurt. You tell us the science says rest, but LeBron James just played 47 minutes last night. His last 5 games, he's averaging 43 minutes a game. They've had blowouts where LeBron's played like 40 minutes. I mean, it's no rhyme or reason. Either they don't know, they have no idea what they're doing, or this whole rest thing is disingenuous.
Well, how about this? How about they know what they're doing, they've won, they've been successful, so they kind of take that for granted. So I was talking to one of my sources there at Cleveland, and I asked him 4 questions. and the responses I got back, I said, concerns heading to the playoff? None. Okay, I said, what about losing the #1 seed? Whatever, we're fine. And I said, what about Kevin Love? He said he's just got to get a shot and get into rhythm. And the last one I asked is about, defense. You're not playing defense. He said, we just got to play harder. So to me, the answers and the responses I'm getting and what they're doing is that they're not concerned as much as maybe we are, everybody else, that they can turn it on when it counts in the playoff. Now, can it happen? It's going to be a tough first round just for them trying to get everything together. But internally, they're not panicking, and that's why you see what's happening right now.
I've heard the same thing from talking to people out there, too.
Yeah.
I have some science for you. I know why they're resting today.
Because
last night in Miami, guess who was out in the clubs? LeBron, Tristan Thompson, and J.R. Smith.
So that's why they're resting?
That's why they're resting.
You do that all the time.
Tristan Thompson's
not the only
Miami, South
I hope he wasn't holding those drinks last night in the club.
Listen, in the league, look, I got taught this. You come in the league, if you want to hang out, you hang out, just do your job. Guys hang out before, after a game.
No,
Jim,
of course they do, but they don't rest the next day.
Jim.
What?
Going home, and adopted home, is different than going out when you go to another city where you're not as familiar. Again, it's like when I go
with Miami.
Huh?
And Atlanta.
And Atlanta.
I mean, LeBron's been in the league 14 years. Atlanta's notorious for the
You know where
nightlife.
to go out and hang out.
Yeah.
That's the difference. When you get in the league enough,
keep it quiet?
No, you know if you go out, you know what to do. Maybe you don't drink as much, but you hang out. As long as you get your rest and get ready to play, it doesn't matter.
Get
Why are they even in
getting
Miami?
the rest
If they're
of the
not
game.
playing, why aren't they in
League,
Cleveland
baby.
rest at home? Because they want to be in Miami.
It's the league.
They want to be in Miami and they want to kick it.
That's
But
right.
again, if I'm Adam Silver and I'm NBA ownership, look at the note we're ending on.
right.
We're headed into the playoffs. We've now got the conversation, instead of being about Westbrook and the MVP, instead of being about the playoffs, instead of being about Steph Curry and Durant, it's once again back on this subject of resting players. Again, it happened over the weekend with Steph Curry, I think, sitting out a game where it got in the news media about a fan who flew his disabled son to the game, missed the game. This conversation, this dump they're taking on the regular season and taking on fans is going to bite them in the rear end over the long haul. They have to fix this.
You hit it on the head when you said if Cleveland goes ahead and wins the championship, then it really looks bad because they coasted throughout this entire regular season. Let's be honest. They haven't taken it seriously. They've underachieved terribly. And if they win it, they're just telling us it doesn't matter at all.
Here's the thing, too. If you think about it, the question has been, should you shorten the season? Okay?
Yeah.
When I played in the lockout season in 98, 99, only 60 games, it was very competitive. With football, because you only got 16 games, you're not going to sit out key people unless you got something locked up because every game is important. Now, the economics have to work out, but wouldn't it be the case that once you already signed your TV deal, you're getting your money?
Yeah.
Okay, so the tickets, the merchandising doesn't impact it as much as once you've already had your money. So could you look at shortening the season so the games mean a little bit more and now you're not resting players as much?
I do.
It's not an issue.
You with it as a former player?
I am.
Okay.
And to make it more competitive.
It is not about rest the second that they went to the club and they do those kinds of things. Because if you really need to rest your body, you're going home, you're going to bed early, you're not out with the girls.
To Denver, where Russell Westbrook dropped 50 points and a 40-foot game winner en route to his 42nd triple-double of the season, breaking Oscar Robertson's long-standing record. But Russ's top competitor for MVP, James Harden, had a triple-double of his own and had an interesting take on what makes an MVP.
Is team record something that matters to players?
I think that's the most important thing. I thought winning was what this was about, period. So I'm not going to get into depth with all that, but I thought winning was the most important thing. And, if you set your team up in a position to, have a chance at the ultimate goal, then that's the most important thing.
Listen, I have no problem with Russell Westbrook winning the MVP. There's truth to what James Harden is saying here. Look, you can go back when Oscar Robertson had a triple-double season. He finished third in the MVP balloting. Bill Russell finished number one and Wilt number two. Bill Russell had the most victories, and that's what, I guess, justified in everyone's mind to give him the award over the Big O and Wilt Chamberlain. We have devalued. We're all in on stats right now, and winning doesn't matter. LeBron James and the Cavaliers are telling us winning doesn't matter. I think there's some truth. I got no problem with Westbrook winning it. I think there's some truth to what Harden is saying here. And then one last thing about this triple-double season. We got a stat here that, again, listen.
Come on, man.
Rebounds off of missed free throws. Russell Westbrook leads the league.
That's one a game.
Well, I
They play 82 games.
That drops him to 9. That drops him out of the triple-double race.
He's missing it on purpose?
No. They're giving him the rebounds on free throws.
He's up in there.
More than Hassan Whiteside, more than DeMarcus Cousins, more than Anthony Davis, more than DeAndre Jordan.
That just tells me he's battling the trees.
Yeah, good for him.
I give him props.
Get
Go
the
ahead,
ball.
Christine.
Me too. Get the ball in his hands. So nothing that I'm about to say is taking away from Harden because I think he's great. I do think Westbrook deserves MVP more than he does. But if it is all about winning, then technically the Warriors or Spurs, someone on either of those teams, gets the automatic MVP because the Rockets don't have the most wins. And if he's saying that, is he taking credit?
No, what he's saying is that if there are two equals, and a lot of people believe Westbrook and Harden are equals, let victories be the determining factor.
So there technically isn't right now any, and you're a voter, no official criteria for what MVP is. And I think maybe we need to change that because it becomes, to me, you take the guy away from the team, what does the team become? That's the value to the team, and I don't think you can argue anyone
you could make a
matters more than
strong
Westbrook.
argument for LeBron if that's your criteria.
But when you surround yourself with all of those superstars and you continuously don't play, and you're devaluing the game by doing that.
I think I love Harden, and I feel for him. I voted for him 2 years ago, when I thought he should have won it when Steph won it. And that's the thing. 2 years ago, Harden wasn't saying that. He thought he should have got the MVP. Exactly. Steph won 67 games. Exactly. That's probably why he's saying, hey, I thought it was about wins. I thought that's what it was. So I get where he's coming from. But, and when they voted when Oscar was third, with all due respect to the former players, that's when players were voting, not media. That's right. Yeah. And their criteria was all over the place. That year, Bill Russell averaged 19 points, 23 rebounds. Well, Wilt still have more rebounds.
I'd rather go with who the players think the best player is.
But hold on, you could have issues with if I don't like you, then I'm not going to vote.
And in the 70s, that's when the players voted Kareem Abdul-Jabbar MVP one year, and they didn't even have a winning record.
Right.
So, and they voted McAdoo.
Was always MVP.
Wait, here's my thing, too. Think about history. We're talking about history right now. And storylines, I know Colin is big on storylines. When we came in, it was all about OKC and Durant going to Golden State. Then it was Durant Westbrook. Then it became must-see TV for everybody to watch OKC because when you lost Kevin Durant, you lost eyes on the TV watching OKC. So they built it up to watch this historic season. So once he gets it and breaks the record, how are you not going to give him the MVP based on the historical significance? Does Harden deserve it? Probably. But from a historical perspective, marketing perspective, it's important to the NBA that this has value.
This is breaking Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak. This is hitting 400. How do you not recognize? When we think of Oscar, now, if I talk to LeBron, Michael Jordan,
triple-double.
That's it. They don't talk about the one championship he won. It's he averaged a triple-double for a whole season. This will immortalize Westbrook.
I also give them both a lot of credit for the fact that Westbrook's played all 80 games. Harden missed one with the flu.
Listen, I'm probably would vote for Westbrook. I just think Harden has a legitimate case. I guess the reason why I don't have a problem with it and I would probably vote for Westbrook, I started thinking about this too much over the weekend, and I started thinking about Hank Aaron breaking the home run record.
Right.
And if people want, today we would be saying, oh, he's just swinging for the fences. How many strikeouts does he have? No one cares. He hit home runs. Right. We wanted to see the record fall. It's an historic record. It made him the home run king. So I got no problem.
So your free throw thing don't mean nothing then. So that's we're going to take care of that, right?
Just adding to the discussion, adding to the context, Harden's not crazy, but Westbrook's the MVP. All right, welcome back. Christine Leahy is still here, and we're joined now by former NBA champion Caron Butler and former NFL head coach Eric Mangini. Let's talk Tony Romo. Our friend Caron here played basketball against Romo in high school and says the former QB, quote, could have easily been a professional basketball player. Well, tomorrow night, the recently retired Cowboy will be honored by the Mavericks, spending the game in uniform and on the bench as an honorary member of the team. I think we're going a little bit too far here, Caron. Not to be disrespectful, but Tony Romo isn't Roger Staubach. He's not Troy Aikman. He's not Dan Fouts. He was a very good quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Danny White, a little bit better than him in this era. Why are we treating him like he's Peyton Manning? We've given him the #1 broadcasting job on CBS, and now the Mavericks are putting him in uniform. We're carrying this guy around on his shoulders like he won 2 or 3 Super Bowls. I don't get it.
I'll tell you exactly why. Because for the first time in me ever watching football in my life, I will be tuning into any game he does for the broadcaster and not necessarily the game. I want to hear what Romo has to say. I think he's very intelligent. His football IQ is out of this world, so everything he says is very smart. Let alone the fact that the people that he's talking about are guys that he played with. So he can give us so much inside information. I think it's just going to be whether or not...
earn his way there?
No, I think I do see what you're saying, you know, earn your way, but life's not fair, right? But I think that the fact that people are like me and they're going to tune in to watch Romo and not the game is enough for CBS to say, hey, we'll give you that chair. I just hope they let him openly talk.
And what's the difference between Tony Romo becoming the #1 broadcaster and John Lynch becoming the GM of the 49ers? It's the same thing.
I'm being consistent. I was critical of both.
Well, and look, both jobs are going to be really hard. Both jobs are going to be extremely different than I think what they expect, and there's going to be a huge learning curve. But in terms of him going to the basketball game and putting on a jersey and sitting on the bench, like, what's the big deal?
There's no big deal. There's no crime here.
Why not do it? The guy was a good soldier. He lost his job because of an injury. He was a good soldier. He's retiring temporarily, you know, until he comes back and plays for somebody. And so in the interim, people are celebrating the fact.
Dirk Nowitzki be in uniform for the Cowboys when his career is over?
If they want to put him in, why not?
It's Mark Cuban, though. This is what Cuban does.
He's a Dallas great. He's a Dallas great. He's a Hall of Famer. Talking about Dirk. And now you look at Tony Romo. He's been with that organization for 10-plus years, America's team. A lot of people can identify with Tony Romo, so I tip my hat off to him, man. He deserves that opportunity.
I'm going to go back to the football aspect of this. If I'm an NFL owner or listen, he's getting these opportunities because he wore a Cowboys uniform. If he wore the San Diego Chargers uniform, he'd be Phillip Rivers. He would not be the #1 broadcaster, CBS. Who knows if anybody be putting him in uniforms for games and other sports. It's because he played for the Cowboys and the star on his helmet. And Jerry Jones will be out selling that message to free agents and other players. Come here, there's extra benefits for playing for the Cowboys. We can plug you right into a $6-7 million a year job as a broadcaster that you don't deserve.
You act like Tony Romo just showed up in Dallas and didn't do very much and didn't play very well. Tony Romo had a very successful career for a long time, and Tony Romo can still play football.
Did Nate Newton. Nate Newton won Super Bowls.
Look, that's fantastic.
They plug him into CBS?
Did he want to go to CBS? I don't know.
I'm sure he would. It would have been better than selling dope.
If Nate, as an alternative, that probably would have been better than selling dope.
Going to jail.
Probably not as lucrative. But if he wanted to be on the Dallas bench, I wouldn't have a problem with Nate Newton being on the Mavericks bench either.
Where did he start at, though? Where did he start at?
Eastern Illinois.
All right, so he got an amazing story that everybody can love and relate to. And it's a good situation and a platform for Tony to be on.
You're a former champion.
Yeah.
You earned. Did they wheel you into some broadcasting job for $5 or $6 million?
But
I also did play for America's team.
I think you're taking away from what makes Tony Romo a unique individual. He's not Phillip Rivers, and that's why we're not going to see Phillip Rivers go get the #1 chair on a broadcast. No. If you listen to Tony Romo break down football, and you could probably speak better to this than anybody, it's really, really interesting to watch and to listen to.
Well, I think the sound bites in the interview are going to be a lot different than having to look at it and evaluate what happens on special teams, what happens offensively, what happens defensively, having that big picture. That to me is going to be a tough transition. And then you got to start talking about your friends, and you got to start evaluating coaches and players that you have a relationship with. And people are going to scream if you're not, or if you're being overly objective or subjective. There's going to be a problem. So he's going to have to do things that he's going to be really uncomfortable with early on. I'm interested to see how he handles that.
Good or bad, I think he just become must-watch television.
Absolutely, and that's the thing.
We got a former NBA player here saying he can play in the NBA. That's going too far. Quickly, who would you compare Tony Romo's hoop game to?
You know, honestly, it's hard to compare him to somebody, but he was a one. He was a scoring one.
All right, welcome back. Jim Jackson and Christine Leahy are back with us, and we're joined now by the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Augusta National, where Sergio Garcia won his first major yesterday, coming back from 2 down in the final 6 holes and defeating Justin Rose on the first playoff hole to take home the green jacket. It was a great ending to a tournament lacking both Tiger Woods and world #1 Dustin Johnson. I think this moment yesterday is the moment that ends the Tiger Woods era. We can now quit talking about, well, is Tiger going to be healthy enough to play? What's Tiger going to do if he's in the tournament? There are now more interesting storylines from Dustin Johnson to Sergio Garcia to Rory McIlroy to Jordan Spieth to Jason Day. There's a group of players, a group of young players, a group of guys, Sergio that was a peer of Tiger Woods, that now are more interesting than whatever's going on with Tiger Woods. And I say that as someone, I was one of the biggest Tiger Woods groupies of all time. I lived and died by Tiger. Even in non-major tournaments, my whole Sunday was built around Tiger Woods in the final round. It's over for me now.
The last time Tiger won a major was 2008, so as far as I'm concerned, that ship has sailed a long time ago. The Tiger Woods era is over, and I think that golf is actually becoming kind of a niche sport rather than a mass appeal sporting event to watch. And I actually looked this up. It's kind of interesting. More courses have closed in each of the last 10 years than have opened. And when did Tiger last win a major? 9 years ago, so I think that kind of coincides.
Well, I think interesting, I'm going to disagree. Interesting, yes. Not as compelling. Because the story of Tiger made you want to watch. Young African-American going against...
Asian.
Well, yeah, with Asian. But it was different. It was a storyline. You wanted to see it. He was young. Dustin Johnson has something like that because of his history, some things he's battled, but Rory doesn't have it. Jason Day doesn't really have a compelling story that makes you want to tune in, and it pushes the needle. I watch it because I'm a golfer, but it wasn't still the same to me. Maybe if Dustin was coming down.
Sergio Garcia wasn't interesting to you.
It was interesting, but it wasn't I was happy for him.
Wasn't compelling. Sergio Garcia. Listen, Sergio Garcia was the guy that Tiger clowned, basically. He was supposed to be 19, and oh my God, he's going to be the equal of Tiger Woods, and he's running up, kicking his legs at the PGA Championship, and everybody called Sergio Fever, and he could never get it done, and now he finally gets his first major championship. That was pretty damn compelling. I'm not saying the same level as Tiger.
What were the ratings?
Well, that was what I was going to go.
What were the ratings?
They were terrible.
That's my point.
Network executives were shocked that nobody was interested in a playoff round that went to the playoff. But I think, Tiger kind of that ship sailed maybe 2013. He had 2 top 10 finishes, and then everybody's like, he's close to getting over the hump. And then the next year, Rory wins 2, and then Jordan Spieth wins 2, and it's like we've forgotten about Tiger. Now it's to the point I don't even think he's on anyone's radar.
Perfect question for you, though, Jason. Moving forward, British Open. If you have a choice between doing a story on Justin Johnson or somebody else, or the thought that Tiger may be healthy enough to play in the British Open, what's going to be a better... I just think people are tired of hearing about, will Tiger come back? Will he come back? I think these other guys right now are more interesting than Tiger Woods' health status, or will he come back?
They are, but the ratings prove that that's not the case.
No. That's not a different debate.
I mean, no, that's a great question. Obviously, Tiger is the big name. Every major is Tiger playing. How's he going to do? Is he going to make the cut?
You still think we're there?
Certainly,
that's more interesting than the current group of women.
I would say it's Tiger up here, and then next below that, Dustin Johnson, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, and then after that, it's the Sergio Garcias, Ricky Fowlers of the world. If Ricky Fowler walked into the studio right now, would you identify him?
I just different question, different question, and I would, but that's because of the Tiger Woods. Yeah. But I'm just saying, Tiger, his status, I think, is less interesting today. I think golf has moved beyond that. Doesn't mean they'll ever be as popular as they were under Tiger. They won't. The NBA, never more popular than Michael Jordan. But there was a point where it's like, oh, man, I'm tired of somebody.
Is there a parallel to the post-Jordan era in the NBA where you had a bunch of good teams, Reggie Miller's Pacers?
But it's not, because you had a compelling story with Michael. You had something with LeBron. You had something with Kobe.
But there was some
time. But listen, but here's the thing, though. You had guys that drew you to the screen, that made you want to watch for whatever reason. In golf, outside of Dustin, now this is for the casual golf fan. Keep in mind, I'm talking about the casual golf fan that'll turn it on a Saturday, on a Thursday to watch. Who in that group really would draw those eyes to the TV screen?
To me, if the PGA were smart, they would market around this group of young guys and build that interest. There's a process.
But why? Because my argument is I think it's a generational thing where kids aren't really watching golf anymore. They're not golfing themselves. They're not interested in watching. So why even market to that age
Kids
group?
have never watched golf. Even,
they watch Tiger. They watch Tiger.
People in their 30s. My friends don't watch it. They don't play.
To baseball, where Tim Tebow homered for the second time in his first 3 games with the Mets Class A affiliate, the Columbia Fireflies. Tebow is now just 1 home run away from tying another famous prospect's home run total, that of Michael Jordan, who hit just 3 home runs in 1 full season of Major League Baseball or minor league baseball. I now think, you got to say it, Tim Tebow's a better baseball prospect than Michael Jordan. He is now ascended past the great Air Jordan.
Are we taking this seriously?
Yes, he hit 2 home runs.
Because when I read this question, I saw prospect, and I'm thinking, is this like prospect of who sells more seats or how much ice cream was sold in the stadium?
Yes.
No one's going to the majors. This isn't even a question. Like, who cares?
2 home runs in his first 3 games.
Good. I'm glad that he could.
I'm
for the record.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with Whitlock.
Tebow's in single A and Jordan was in double A, and I think that we're not going to see Tebow go any further. So there's your answer.
You know what's interesting though? Frank Thomas is one that liked Tebow when he first started to play. And he said something interesting. He said something about Michael. He said, Michael, if you look at his lower body, he was built like a basketball player. Skinny legs, so he didn't have any power. Tim Tebow is a lot different in his build. He's built for baseball. Now, whether he makes it, I don't know. But everybody's going to give him a chance because he's Tim Tebow. Why is it a story?
Because it's Tim Tebow.
Because it's Tim Tebow. Compelling.
I ranted about this on my radio show. I'm like, why do people not like Tebow? We do a post on it on the Big Lead saying, hey, Tim Tebow homered again. Check it out. And all it is a stream of negativity.
Right.
Oh, he sucks. He's never going to make the majors. Why? Christine, you said he's not going to make it. Injuries happen. And remember, this is a business. The Mets are running a business. In the dog days of July, you put Tim Tebow in that stadium on a weekend, you know how many jerseys you're selling?
And that's
You know
great.
you're selling out the stadium?
No, good for them, but he's not going to play Major League Baseball. He's
Did
just
you
not
hear what
going
he said? They could put him there as a gimmick. You know, baseball once put, you can't say midget anymore, a short person in baseball as a gimmick. Baseball and sports are not opposed to gimmicks. Tim Tebow, if he keeps hitting home runs, you know.
Why would you doubt Tebow at this level? Okay, people said he couldn't be a quarterback. He went in the playoffs and won a game. I know.
Beat my Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who was homeschooled his whole life. And then he decides, oh, I'm going to play football for the high school. They win a state championship. He's the state player of the year in Florida. You know they turn out great prospects. I mean, this guy's won at every level. Florida, the Heisman Trophy, the title. Why would you doubt his chances?
Because he's not a baseball player. He's just not.
All right.
Look,
these gimmicks work when you need to, fill the stands up in smaller towns and have the kids come and do family involvement, in the games.
I can't knock his hustle, though. I can't knock his hustle. He's trying.
Nothing against Tim Tebow at all. He's having a good time. He's having fun. It's good for minor league teams.
Tim Tebow comes with the Mets to play the Dodgers. Are you guys trying to get a ticket?
No.
Are you scrambling to get a ticket?
You know what the question we should have asked here? Damn it.
Which one?
Will Tim Tebow play in the majors before Colin Kaepernick is the starting quarterback?
That's a good question.
That's a good one.
I would side with Tebow on that one.
Quickly. Tebow plays in the majors or Colin Kaepernick starts another NFL game at a quarterback?
Starts?
Yeah, starts.
Kaepernick.
Give me Tebow.
I'm going Kaepernick.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is the Speak for Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. A little golf sprinkled in. How about that? Back tomorrow. We're getting closer to the NFL draft. NBA playoffs only a few days away. Remember, subscribe to the show on iTunes. We're on YouTube, SoundCloud. We are everywhere on the internet that you are. Hey, let me get a quick word on Steph Curry versus LeBron James. This is the time of the year when everybody talks MVP and who's in the mix. And yes, LeBron should be in the MVP voting every year. However, I just want to remind everyone, Steph Curry is the face of the NBA. Not Russell Westbrook, not Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. He is the most popular selling jersey in the league. The guy is a 2-time back-to-back MVP. The Warriors have the best record in the NBA for the 3rd year in a row. And anybody hating on Steph Curry, I'm talking about LeBron, Westbrook, Chris Paul. Just because Curry passed him, get over it. Steph Curry's the real deal. He's an all-time great already, and the Warriors are about to start a march toward another NBA championship. So deal with it. Talk to you tomorrow.